Okay, today we're going to be making a really basic lamp in Autodesk Inventor, just to familiarise yourself with the program and understand what it can do to hopefully help you with your developments that you'll be doing for your camp lights. So if you go File, once you've got Inventor open, or the big I for you guys, and then go New, it'll bring this Create New File window up. So you've got part files, assembly files, and drawing files. So at the moment we're going to be wanting to make a part file. So just make sure under templates here on the left that you're on metric, so we get millimeters. And then this last part file, standard mm.ipt, is what you want to select, and then I want you to click create. And that'll load you up a file. Now you can see you've got lots of different buttons up here for doing various 3D operations, and you've got a little view cube here which shows you what you're looking at. We're in the front at the moment, so the very first thing that you need to do when drawing in Inventor is you need to create a 2D sketch so that you can then do a 3D operation in it to turn it into something with 3D form. So what we need to do is create a 2D sketch. So if you hit Start 2D Sketch in the top left hand corner, the view cube over here will flick around, and you can see we've got the front, the right, and the top. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to draw on the top to start with. So the top, which is this shape here, lines up with this one. The XZ plane, that's the one we're going to want to draw on. So I'm going to click on that, and here we are drawing on the top. So I want you to get into the circle tool, and you can snap a circle to the middle of your cross in the center of your screen. I want you to click once, push out, and then I just want you to draw a circle any size will do. Okay, hit escape, and then what we want to do is we want to dimension that circle. So we want to give it, so you can generally draw stuff in Inventor and then dimension it afterwards to give it the size that you want it to be. So I'm going to click on this dimension tool up here near constraints. I'm going to click once on the circle. I'm going to push out to where I want the dimension, and then I'm going to click again. And then I'm going to give that a dimension of 60 for 60 millimeters. Now see, it doesn't all fit the screen. We can resize that by using our scroll wheel on our mouse. And then to move, we can also click that middle scroll wheel button and drag it around on the screen, like so. Okay, now I've got that circle. I want to push that circle up to create a 3D form. So I'm going to click on Finish Sketch up here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to click on Extrude, just up here next to 2D Sketch. And you see that it's going to push it up 10 millimeters for me. So I'm going to change that in this Extrude box here. I'm going to change that to 80 millimeters. Okay, now what I might do is, let's say I want to put a slight taper on it. I can go click on More over here, Taper, and I can do, say, a -8 taper, and I can just start to taper that in to get a more interesting shape happening. I'm going to hit OK. So what I've created now is a 3D cone with a slight taper on it. Now to have a look at the object in 3D, you can hold the Shift key, hit the middle mouse button as well, and you can move around in 3D and start to have a bit of a look at it. Like so. Now what you'll notice is it's solid, and I actually need it to be hollow. So I'm going to rotate around so I can see the base of the object, and I'm going to click on the Shell button, just where it says Modify. I'm going to click Shell. And I'm going to click on this bottom face because that's the one I'm going to hollow out. Just here it gives you the wall thickness, which is going to usually be about between 1 and 2 millimeters for you guys. So I'm going to go 1.5 and enter. And as you can see now, I've actually hollowed that out. Okay, so we're starting to get something that resembles the shell for the clear part of the camp light that we'll be making. Now, we can cut holes out of things and emboss things and do all sorts of different actions. And to do any of those, you always need to go Start 2D Sketch at the top left, click on a face you want to work on, draw whatever it is you want to draw, so it might be a hole like this, Finish 2D Sketch, and then I can click Extrude, click on that hole. Now at the moment it's pushing it up 80 mil because that's the last action I did. I might want to go over here, I'm joining, I might want to go cut this middle one here. Hit OK, and now what that's done is it's actually cut a hole there through that particular piece for me. Alrighty, the last thing I want to show you to do, or the second last thing, is I want to show you how to create a hole on this surface here. Now you can't start a 2D sketch on this surface because it's actually it's circular and it's on a couple of angles. There's no flat surface to draw on. So what we then need to do is we need to do what's called creating a work plane. So if I hit Escape to get out of my tool, and I go Work Features, and I can click up here on Plane. Now what I need to do is I need to give it something to snap to so that I can actually draw on it. And what we'll find is if we go over here into our parts tree and we click origin, it'll actually give us some planes that we can work on. So if we click this YZ plane, I can then click and drag and see this plane is moving through this object. I can actually bring it out a little bit past my object, which is at about 33 mil. Click the tick, and now I've got this flat area that we can actually do a sketch on. So I can go up to Start 2D Sketch, click on that work plane, draw, say, go to this rectangle tool. I could do, say, a slot, for example. A slot, click, click. I might want to do a smaller slot down this side. A smaller slot there. I can go Finish Sketch, Extrude, click this shape, click this shape, click this shape. Change that to Cut. And as you can see, it's going to cut it the whole way through that object. And then I can OK. Now I'm starting to get some different kind of shapes and features happening on my object. We can do Fillet, which is this top tool here. And what that does is that actually allows us, so I've clicked on that top edge there, that allows us to put in a radius, which will be 2 millimeters, and actually round our edges off to start making our things look a little bit more professional and a little bit neater. So we can go 2 on that top one, and that'll round that in like so. Okay? And in Inventor, we can also make our models look quite realistic and get some sort of photorealistic renders happening. The first thing I'm going to do though is I've got this work plane here, this orange guy that I want to get rid of. So if you hover over it, you can see that this red box actually appears over it. So we know that that's work plane 1. I'm going to right click over here on work plane 1, and I'm going to untick visibility to turn that off. Now to make it look a bit more realistic, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to go up to View, and where it says Visual Style, I'm going to click Realistic. Okay, I'm going to turn Reflections on. I might put a ground plane on, and I'm going to click this button called Ray Tracing, which actually starts rendering the object. Now if I click up where it says Default here, I can actually change the material that it's made out of. So I want to go for like a clear green, maybe, or a dark green plastic, and I'm starting to get a more realistic looking model. I might go for something a little bit clearer to show that it's made of a clear plastic, so say clear yellow. And what it does is down here in the bottom right, you can see this progress bar. It's actually using the power of the computer to render this image, so to give us a realistic picture of it. Okay? So I just want you to try and have a little bit of a play around with those features. If you want to go back to the normal view, if you click on the visual style up here, you can go to Shaded with Edges. Up at the top here, you can change it back to something that's a little bit easier for you to see. You might want to go dark green, for example. Back into 3D model, and I want you to just have a play around and have a bit of drawing, because the more practice you get in this software, the better you'll get at it. Now this is not the limit of what your lamp can be, but this just should hopefully give you an idea of what the software is capable of and what some of the different actions are that you can do in it. So please just have a little bit of a play around and start to try and familiarise yourself with the software. Thank you.